All right, let's get this thing started. A special Saturday edition of the CJ Curry Show presented by PrizePicks. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here. PrizePicks is making daily fantasy sports simple by allowing you to pick 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6 now, more recently, or 6, up to 6 different players from your favorite sports leagues. All right, you decide whether you're going to go for more or less on their projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, it's a fantastic time to get signed up. Guys, use promo code Curry to make your first deposit, and you'll get a 100% instant deposit match, dollar for dollar match on every dollar that you put in, all the way up to $100, making your first entry on PrizePicks totally risk-free. Check out the link in the description of today's video. I've made it simple for you guys to go out there and get signed up. Appreciate everybody joining me on this special Saturday edition of the CJ Curry Show. Shout out to everybody in Patreon last night. We ended up sweeping, went 3-0 on the picks that I posted to Patreon, bringing our record month to date to about 67%. 67%, not too shabby, right? 55, 56%, you're doing really well. Anything 60% or above, that's pretty elite level type stuff. And I'm doing this all on my own here, my friends. I'm making these videos, I'm posting these picks to Patreon, I'm sharing cheat sheets to help you guys with your player prop research. We're doing giveaways. I got a giveaway going right now on Patreon for 15 risk-free 2-pick power plays to win $100. So shout out to Patreon members. I'm giving back. I'm providing as much value as humanly possible as one man can provide, okay? Speaking of doing giveaways, we got to do a giveaway because if you're a subscriber, if you've liked the video from yesterday, if you left a comment on yesterday's podcast, well, guess what? You've been automatically entered in to win a risk-free 2-pick power play today. So we're going to go ahead and pick a winner. Let's go ahead and do that now. Appreciate everybody for being here. Shout out to my man Neville. We got Michael in the building. We got D'Angelo here. We got Everyday Fantasy, aka my man Don P. We got Ripo here. He says Saturday booming. You know how we do. I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I said I might as well jump on here and try to help some people win some money, right? On PrizePicks. Might as well, right? Do something productive with my time. Mally, shout out to you. Britain's in the building. Hey, yo, D, long time no see. Let's get into it. Let's pick a winner from yesterday's podcast, and hopefully you were able to jump in there. We had 18 unique comments left on the replay of yesterday's show. Okay, so those 18 commenters, hopefully you've subscribed, liked, and left a comment. If not, you might want to do so going forward, because if you're looking for some free money on PrizePicks, I'm the guy to deliver the goods. I'm delivering risk-free 2-pick power plays every day on YouTube, every Friday on Twitter, and every week in Patreon. All right, I'm giving back. I'm the Robin Hood of PrizePicks. All right, I'm giving back to everybody. So 18 total unique comments. Let's go ahead and hit start here. It'll randomly select somebody from the comment section of yesterday's podcast replay. Okay, and hopefully you've left a comment to get entered in to win. All right, shout out to B Don. B Don is the winner. B Don was wishing everybody a happy Flex Friday. So B Don, I don't know if you're watching live, maybe you're catching the replay of today's show. No matter the case, hit me up. I need you to DM me your PrizePicks email address. You could reach me on Twitter at Curry the Creator, or if you're in the Discord, link to the Discord, link to the Twitter down in the description below. You can shoot me a DM in Discord as well. Either way, it's all good. I just need your PrizePicks email address so I could add that risk-free 2-pick power play to your PrizePicks account. Again, B Don. All you got to do is get both picks right, and you will get $100 added to your PrizePicks account. So I'm giving back, my friends. I'm giving back. If you want to be entered in for one of these giveaways in the future, all you got to do, be a subscriber, slap the like button. Those likes go a long way in helping the channel grow. And then also, once the show ends, go to the replay of the show down in the comment section. Leave a comment. Could be your favorite pick, prop, or play of the day. Could be something nice like B Don said. Happy Flex Friday. Doesn't matter. Leave a comment, okay? And that's how you get entered in to win. Appreciate everybody being here. Let's quickly get into today's NBA slate. We got a total of 6 games. We'll call this a small to medium-sized slate. Games get started at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to buzz through the games real quick, take a look at some of the injury news, take a look at some of the point totals and the spreads here, try to identify games that could be potential traps, aka blowouts, and look at what games we want to target, maybe some overs or some unders on. All right, so starting off at 5 p.m., we got the Indiana Pacers at the Atlanta Hawks. Tyrese Halliburton ended up playing last night. He's going to be playing again today from what it looks like. Chris Duarte is a game-time decision for the Indiana Pacers. As far as the Atlanta Hawks go, some pretty big injury news here for us to monitor as we get closer to tip-off. I'm talking about Trae Young, game-time decision for Ice Trae. And then we got Hunter, also listed as a game time decision. So if both or one of those guys are out, obviously that's going to shake things up for the Atlanta Hawks. But we've got ourselves a huge total on this game, 242 points with a 9-point spread. I would imagine that spread shrinks a little bit if somebody like Trae Young ends up sitting out tonight. But definitely a game for us to target. If you want, you could go first half only on this game. There's a lot of first half props up on the PrizePicks board. Just another reason for you to be playing on PrizePicks if you're not yet. Again, link down in the description to get started on PrizePicks. You get that 100% instant deposit match using my promo code Curry. All right, moving on. After the 5 o'clock game, we got to wait 3 hours for the next game to tip off. And that next game is going to be a good one. It's an 8 p.m. tip off between the Brooklyn Nets and the Miami Heat. Seth Curry, Ben Simmons both out. Apparently Ben Simmons has some sort of nerve impingement in his back, and maybe that's the reason why he hasn't been playing like the Ben Simmons we once knew and loved from the Philadelphia 76ers days. Speaking of 76ers, former 76er himself, Seth Curry, like I mentioned, gonna be out today for the Brooklyn Nets. Moving over to the Miami Heat side of things, Kyle Lowry. I think it's Kyle Lowry's birthday today. Did somebody say that in Discord? Guys, let me know. Maybe you can confirm or deny these rumors. Is it Big Booty Lowry's birthday? You guys got to let me know. Guy's going to be blowing out the candles on the cake while also carrying his own cakes, if you know what I'm talking about. Anybody who watched Lowry play knows that Lowry doesn't need to wait for his birthday to pack them cakes, you know what I'm saying? Martin also listed as a game time decision. Jovic and Zeller already ruled out for Miami. Guys, we got a total of 221.5 points here, 5.5 point spread. Looks like it's going to stay close and competitive. Hopefully it does. We want to avoid any possible blowout situations. So this one's looking like a fun one. Milwaukee at Denver tips off at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Two of the best teams in the NBA. In fact, if we flip it over here to the 2023 playoff picture, the number 1 seed in the West is the Denver Nuggets. The number 1 seed in the East is the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's a battle of number 1 seeds, the best of the East versus the best of the West, locking horns tonight. So this is going to be must-see TV. If you're a basketball fan, definitely going to be tuned in to this particular game. As far as injuries go, Chris Middleton, game time decision. He did not play last night. This is a back-to-back for the Milwaukee Bucks. Looks like he's going to be suiting up. Maybe they were saving him, conserving his energy for tonight's more important matchup against the Denver Nuggets. Milwaukee beat the brakes off the Utah Jazz last night, so they didn't really need Middleton for that game. Jake Crowder, Goran Dragic, and Miles Leonard all listed as game time decisions. All three of those guys have sat out the last couple of games. Wouldn't surprise me if they sat out again tonight. As far as Denver goes, no impactful injury news there. We got a great total on this game, though. 236.5 points. Pretty high total. Spread's just 3 points. So this could be a preview of the NBA Finals to come, okay? Milwaukee at Denver, 9 p.m. tip-off. Looks like a fun one. Moving it down here to 10 o'clock, we got ourselves another good game here. Philadelphia and Phoenix. Also two teams who are contending in their respective conferences. If we go and take a look here, the Philadelphia 76ers, 3rd seed currently at 49-24 in the Eastern Conference. Then we got the Phoenix Suns sitting at 38-35. They can't wait for DeAndre Ayton and Kevin Durant to get healthy and get integrated back in that starting lineup. But they will not have those guys tonight. Both of them expected to sit out. Let's just say DeAndre Ayton's a game time decision. Will he play or not? I don't know. I'm sure Phoenix is hoping that he plays and matches up with Joel Embiid. They're going to need somebody to stop Embiid. If you watched Embiid last night against Golden State, Embiid looked phenomenal, remarkable. Maybe the MVP this season. Joel Embiid put on an MVP caliber performance. He looked like the best player in the league last night against one of the best teams in the league, the Golden State Warriors. Speaking of injury news, though, we got to look at James Harden. He's a game time decision for Philadelphia. The Beard did not play last night against Golden State. His status still up in the air. Daniel House, game time decision, as is Mr. McDaniels, listed as a GTD. This game has a total of 225 points with a 2-point spread, so it's going to be one of those games where it could be two of the teams that's going to be vying for an NBA Finals position if all goes well and health is on their side. Moving ahead here to a 10 o'clock game between the Utah Jazz and Sacramento Kings. Guys, the theme today, you're going to see a lot of teams on back-to-backs. As we reach the close of the regular season, you're going to see a lot of these teams playing like 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 6 nights, 2 games in 3 nights, that type of thing. You're going to see a lot of these teams playing very often here as we reach the finish line of the regular season. So Utah on a back-to-back, Sacramento also on a back-to-back. Both of them, maybe fatigue plays a little bit of a factor here. Maybe they don't put up the same stats that they typically do. But as far as injury goes on the Utah Jazz side of things, we got Jordan Clarkson listed as a game-time decision. Rudy Gay, Lauri Markkanen, both game-time decisions. Now, Colin Sexton's listed as a game-time decision, but it looks like as of right now, according to RotoWire, he's closer to being doubtful than probable. So keep your eye on Clarkson and Markkanen. We don't really know. They could be a coin flip at this moment. On the Sacramento side, De'Aaron Fox is listed as a game-time decision. I expect that he plays today. They really need him to suit up and get out there. This game has a total of 236.5 points. Pretty nice total, 235 plus points here. 7.5 point spread, though, favoring Sacramento. Again, if you get Clarkson and Markkanen in the lineup, then I think this game becomes a whole lot more competitive. So you might see that spread go from 7.5 down to something more manageable, like 5.5 or 4.5. if those guys are ruled in, but we're still waiting to see. 10:30, the last game of the night, New Orleans at LA, the LA Clippers, that is. As far as New Orleans Pelicans injuries go, same old. Alvarado, Liddell, and Zion Williamson are already ruled out. Looks like Murphy's on the injured list as well, but he's a game time decision. Looks like he's probable, so I would expect that Murphy's out there and ready to go. For the Clippers, we all know by now that Paul George is out. Doesn't sound like he's going to be ready to go for the regular season. Maybe they get him back in time for the playoffs. Clippers sitting at 39-35. They've got playoff hopes. So it's going to be guys like Kawhi Leonard, obviously, who's going to look to carry the team. They've got a lot of role players, Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon. You got Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac, Mason Plumlee off the bench. So it'll be a total team effort with PG-13 out of the lineup. But that's the rundown, folks. That's 6 games that we have to look forward to today. So what are we doing about player props? That's why you're all here. That's what we're all here to see. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for everybody who's joining. Slap the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm looking to grow this channel as much as humanly possible. We do a live show, typically Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Today is a special Saturday edition, and we're trying to get you ready. Try to put you on some of these picks. Let me show you some of the picks that I've already got locked in here. Some of the value has already moved, already dried up. Speaking of Kawhi Leonard, under 4.5 assists or less than 4.5 assists. That's been bumped down to 4 at this point. We were able to get that locked in bright and early, 9:55 a.m. before the bumps. We got Tyler Hero, 2.5 3-point makes. I think that one's still good to go on the PrizePicks board. He's taking on Brooklyn. Brooklyn's given up over 7 3-point makes to shooting guards and small forwards, wing position players, which is where Tyler Hero is typically playing. So Brooklyn giving up a good amount of threes. Hero's hitting at a pretty high clip. He's projecting well. It's a plus EV play, so everything looks good there. And then we were able to scoop Russell Westbrook under 17.5 points on PrizePicks. I believe that got bumped down to 16.5 and then bumped up soon thereafter up to 17, but still liking the less or the under at 17.5. So we locked in that value before 9 a.m. Those are just a couple of plays. And then Corey Sandhagen, this is not my pick. This is one of our community members who's really sharp with MMA. He's liking Corey Sandhagen. This is a UFC MMA pick for more than 107.5 significant strikes. So I'm tailing as Corey Sandhagen takes on Marlon Vera. This one's expected to go the distance. And if it does, then Sandhagen should have no problem reaching 108 or more significant strikes. Although significant strikes can be a little flaky sometimes. It's all interpretation by the judges who are ruling, is it a strike, a significant strike? All right. So anyway, that's just a couple of plays that I'm already, got my money in on. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tools that we're going to be using to hopefully land on some more winning plays. Let's refresh it here. The first tool that I'm going to be using, the Daily Grind Fantasy NBA PrizePicks Optimizer. So what does this do? Well, this helps us quickly and efficiently locate value on the PrizePicks board. Basically what it does is it strips the vig out of there, and then it basically gives us a real true number as far as the odds for this prop to hit the over, hit the under, and then it gives us a percentage of odds to hit over on the right hand side where you see those little orange bars there. Like for instance, the top one right now, Russell Westbrook, 29.5 PRA. They're saying take the over. 54.1% chance for that one to hit. So that's the first tool that we're going to be using. And if you want to use this, guys, there's a promo code down in today's description of the video. Go all the way down to the bottom of the description. I've left a link down there. Use code Curry when you check out with the DGF Optimizer. You'll save $5 on your first week or month or whatever it is. So a little discount code waiting for you guys. This tool has been immensely helpful to me. Like I said, we've amassed a 67% hit rate this month in Patreon. We've been keeping track of the picks. I wanted to see how good this tool actually is. Well, my friends, 67% is phenomenal. That's elite as far as hit rates go, and I can't do it as easy as I can with this DGF Optimizer. So this is working wonders for me. On top of that, we're going to be pulling projections up today using Fantasy Labs and Action Labs. This is a paid premium tool. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just find that their projections and models are usually very accurate, very, very accurate. Again, this is another one of the steps or tools that I use in my research process. And then last but not least, if we want to take a look at a visual component, game logs, hit rates, things of that nature, props.cash has us covered here. Again, promo code Curry, 25% off your first month of props.cash if you're not already using it. I've left a link for you down in the description as well for that. So those are the tools that we'll be using. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's refresh the optimizer. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to be featured on today's podcast and help support the show, listen, YouTube has something called Super Chat. You see the live chat window, there's a little row of icons under there. I think there's one that looks like a little dollar bill. You can click on that. It'll highlight your comment, get you some one-on-one help from yours truly. And again, you can help support the channel and be featured on today's show. So let's start it off here. We got Russell Westbrook sitting at the top of the list at 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists on PrizePicks. The DGF Optimizer gives this a -137 odds to go over. They're suggesting we go over at 29.5. Let's see here, 54.1% odds to hit on this particular prop. All right, so we know that it's a plus EV prop, right? Lines makers set these props to be a 50-50 proposition, a coin flip essentially. So anytime we see an edge of like 4.1%, well, that's good, right? That shifts the balance of power into our favor away from the sports books. And that's essentially what we're getting here with Russell Westbrook at 29.5 PRA. So, you know, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go pull a projection up for Russell Westbrook because now that I know it's a plus EV play, I could check that box off. Now I want to see what he's projecting for on these models provided by Action Lab. So let's do that now. I got a projection of 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Russell Westbrook. Again, his line is 29.5, projection of 27.5. So for me, personally, now you do what you want to do. If you feel a different way about this and you don't agree with this projection on Russell Westbrook, well, by all means, feel free to take the over. But for me, I think I'm just going to fade it. I'm not going to take the over or the under here because, yes, it's considered a plus EV play at 29.5 on PrizePicks, meaning they suggest you should take the over. But I'm seeing a projection of 27.5. So for me, that doesn't vibe well with me. Let's see if we can find a better pick. One that is plus EV, one that projects well, and then one that looks like it's got a pretty good chance of hitting based on historical data and matchups and things of that nature. So let's go down here. What else do we have? We've got Nikola Jokic at 46.5 PRA on PrizePicks. He's at 47.5 on major sports books. 53.7% chance for this one to hit. So let's explore this one together. Again, we're going to go pull a projection and see what the projections are looking like. A little light on this one as well, kind of like Russell Westbrook, where he's projected for under his line. Both his PrizePicks and sportsbook lines are a little higher than 45.1. The optimizer is suggesting we take the over on Jokic. Again, at 46.5, maybe you roll the dice there. He's going to have a great game against a formidable opponent like the Milwaukee Bucks, the #1 seed in the East, right? So you could take the over there, but again, for me, I'm just going to leave this one alone, as the projection models that I like and trust don't seem to jive with what we're seeing here. So let's move on to the next one. Michael Porter Jr., 5.5 rebounds. This is also considered a plus EV play. 53.6% chance for this one to hit. They are suggesting we take the under in this case, not the over at 5.5 boards, but the under. So again, we're going to pull a projection up here on Michael Porter Jr. and see what he's projected for. So here we go again. A difference of opinion, I guess you could say, where the projections have him going over 5.5, but the action on the sports books is suggesting under 5.5. So again, conflicting information. I don't like that, so I'm going to keep looking for one that I like a little bit better. What about Bam Adebayo over 9 rebounds? He's at 9 on PrizePicks, 9.5 on the sports books. They're suggesting we take the over on Bam Bam, who's sitting at 9 boards. Let's see if we could find a favorable projection. Nope. Once again, Bam Adebayo projected for 8.1 rebounds. That's less than 9.5. So this is what we're doing. We're just going through these plus EV plays here. I'm looking for something solid as far as a projection goes. So far, you know, we're seeing some plus EV options that have a 54% chance to hit. But for me personally, for my taste, I'm just not going to take any of these because the projections kind of seem to go against it. Let's look at this one right here. Herbert Jones over points and assists. This one is one that I was eyeballing this morning. It's got a 53.1% chance to hit. It's 10.5 points plus assists. There's not really any outstanding injury news that we have to be worried about with the New Orleans Pelicans, so we can feel good about. Go ahead and lock this in if we like it. So let's go find Herbert Jones here. Points plus assists. There we go. All right, this one's looking promising. We've got him projected for 12.3 points plus assists. So they've combined his points line with his assists line, and that's how you get that 10.5. So he is projected for 12.3. He's got a over 53% chance to cover the points and assists at 10.5 at 53.1%. So far, plus EV, check. Projected well, check. Let's look at some game logs here for Herbert Jones, because truthfully, I don't know how he's been performing on this particular prop, but I do like to get a visual component. I like to see his hit rates, his game logs. Is he covering? Is he not? Well, we've got a snapshot here of his last 10 games thanks to props.cash. It looks like in his last 10 games at 10.5 points plus assists, he is 6 for 10. 6 for 10, averaging 13.6 points plus assists in his last 10 games, 11.8 points plus assists in his last 5 games, and then 11.9 for the season. Speaking of the season, let's get a full view of his hit rates for the entire season at 10.5 points and assists, 29 for 57, just a little bit better than a coin flip at a 51% hit rate. But let me show you something, why this one really caught my eye on Herbert Jones, because we talked about this in previous shows, previous episodes of this podcast. There's certain guys who perform better at home than they do on the road. And I think Herbert Jones is one of those guys in this case who performs better on the road. So first, we'll take a look at his home splits. 10.8 points plus assists per game when he plays at home in front of the New Orleans Pelicans fans. But when he's on the road, 12.9 points plus assists. So he's actually got a much higher hit rate and a higher per game average when it comes to the points and assists at 16 out of 29, 55% hit rate this season when he's on the road. So definitely a bump when he plays on the road. Last 10 games, 11.2, and the last 5 games, 13.6, mostly being boosted by a couple of monster games. Monster for him, that is. 21 points and assists and 16 points and assists against Sacramento and Houston, respectively. So for me, I think this looks good enough. I mean, we're dealing with a guy who's in a plus or positive split situation. On the road, he averages more. We already talked about the projection. It's 12.3. We talked about this having a 53.1% chance to hit according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So it's plus EV, it's projecting well. He's got pretty good hit rates when it comes to this prop overall, and especially when it's on the road. So I think this could be the first option that we go ahead and put in on our entries today. So let's go do that. Herbert Jones, 10.5 points plus assists. You'd want to take the more or the over according to the way the juice is flowing, the projections, and so on. So that's the first one. Guys, if you are liking this, let me know. holler at your boy. You guys are saying Tyler Herro's 3-point makes are gone. He is no longer being offered at 2.5 3-point makes. Ooh, you're right. PrizePicks pulled him off the board. Well, that's typically a good sign, unless you're Dillon Brooks at 2.5 rebounds last night. They pulled that one off the board, and Dillon Brooks did not find 3 rebounds. RIP to that Dillon Brooks rebound prop. But yeah, they pulled Tyler Herro's 3-point makes off the PrizePicks board. He was sitting at 2.5. Pretty big betting favorite to hit at least 3 threes. But yeah, like a fart in the wind, Tyler Herro's 3-point make prop is now gone. No longer on the PrizePicks board. We got a super chat coming through. Thanks for using the super chat function, Rai-Po. I appreciate you showing some support. He says, just here to show the homie CJ some love. Speaking of love, how do you feel about Kevin Love's assists at 1.5? That's a good question. Have not looked Kevin Love's way, especially not for the assist prop. Is he up on the PrizePicks board? There he is at 1.5 dimes. Maybe this is our pair. Maybe Herbert Jones needs a dance partner here for a 2-pick power play. In this case, we could go Kevin Love at 1.5 dimes, potentially going up against the Brooklyn Nets tonight. So you know what I'm going to do? First and foremost, I'm going to go see if this play is considered a plus EV play, a plus expected value play, according to the DG optimizer here. Now we go and find it, and we see Kevin Love here at 1.5 dimes. The DGF odds on this prop, minus 116, which is not great. We go take a look at the percentage chances of this to hit, 50.1%, a little bit better than a coin flip. Just a hair better than a coin flip. I don't love that at first glance. I don't like coin flips. You know what I'm saying? I like when there's more of a significant edge in our favor. But nonetheless, thank you for the super chat. I'm going to go and look at this one a little bit closer here. Kevin Love's assist projection today, folks, 2 dimes, which just happens to be exactly how many he would need if you're considering the over here on Kevin Love. So I'm not saying that it's going to fail, but I'm also not saying it's going to hit, because it's got a 50.1% chance. Just a little over 50% chance. It is projecting well, though, so you got that. If you want to roll the dice on this prop, by all means. I'm not going to personally take it, because I want to find a prop that gives me a little bit better odds, a little bit higher percentage to hit than 50.1. Okay, so projected well. All right, let's take a look at Kevin Love's assist hit rates here over the last 5 to 10 games. Obviously, he has not been with the Miami Heat for very long, so we got a limited sample size in his brief time here with the Miami Heat. So maybe these projection models are onto something here, or maybe they're just completely off when it comes to Kevin Love in his new environment here. But just looking at the last 10 games, you can see Kevin Love has a nice little 4-game hit streak going at 1.5 dimes. He had 4 against New York, 2 against Detroit, 3 against Chicago, 3 against Memphis. All right, so he's covered this in 4 straight games, 5 out of his last 6 games overall. You could back that up like Juvenile and look at the bigger sample here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of his last 8, right? 6 out of his last 8. So however you want to cut it, however you want to chop it, more often than not in the last 8 games, he's hitting the over. All right. Had 1 against his former team, Cleveland, 0 against Utah on March 13th. So, 2 or more in the other games. So, if you wanted to roll the dice, I mean, it doesn't look terrible when you go and take a look at his game logs here. Brooklyn's defense this season, 4th fewest assists allowed per game to opposing teams. They're giving up just a little over 23 assists per game. So not the greatest matchup in the world. But hey, Kevin Love can do it. He's proven he can do it against tough teams like the Knicks, Bulls, Memphis, some pretty tough opponents in there. Even Cleveland back here, he had 2 against his former team. So Kevin Love can certainly get it done. He's proven that he can get it done. So for me, I'm going to leave that one alone, but hopefully that information helps you make a more informed decision, all right, with your money and on this player prop. Anything else, guys? Let me know. Let me know if you have a super chat or something you want to leave. I'm happy to look into it like I did for my man Rai-Po here. Let's go ahead and refresh the optimizer, see what else is looking good on this board. All right, we got Joel Embiid's fantasy score. Right now, they're projecting Joel Embiid to go under his fantasy score today on PrizePicks, which is 59.5. That's a pretty high number. I think for me, I got to wait and see about James Harden. Is he going to be in or out? We talked about Embiid, going to be on a back-to-back tonight. He played big minutes last night against Golden State. Maybe fatigue does play a little bit of a factor, and Embiid ends up staying under 59.5. I do have a fantasy score projection at my fingertips here. Again, thanks to Fantasy Labs for this. I've got Joel Embiid projected for 58.7. 58.7 FanDuel points or fantasy points, however you want to describe it. The FanDuel scoring system for fantasy is the same as PrizePicks, is the same as Yahoo Fantasy Basketball. All right, so either which way you cut it, the DG optimizer is suggesting go under on Joel Embiid's fantasy score at 59.5. I can back that up with a projection here on Embiid, 58.7. So two different sites, two different sources are saying go under on Embiid at 59.5 fantasy points. But again, for me, I'm going to take the wait and see approach because there's a lot of pending news that we're waiting to hear from here on this Philadelphia Phoenix game. Will Harden play? That's the big one, right? That could impact Joel Embiid's output. And then on the other side, DeAndre Ayton, although he does look probable, he's still listed as a game time decision at this moment. So those two things for me are going to be why I'm going to take the wait and see approach. But hey, I could see why maybe you'd want to go under here. The total is just 225 points. Lower total equals fewer possessions, right? Fewer possessions equals less points, rebounds, and assist opportunities for blocks and steals, right? So it looks like one of those games that's going to be kind of a low and slow pace game. Low total, slow pace. So that could be one that you potentially take the under on. Joel Embiid at 59.5 fantasy. But again, you might want to just wait and see if James Harden's in or out. Is DeAndre Ayton truly playing? Maybe that matchup gets a little bit harder for Joel Embiid going up against Ayton instead of Bismack Biyombo and Jock Landale, right? Something to consider. Taking a look at the optimizer here. We got one that's coming in here. It is from our man Broderick. Shout out to Broderick, one of our Patreon members. He's mentioning Jimmy Butler fantasy. He wants to go over on Jimmy Bucket's fantasy score today. Let's take a look at Jimmy Butler. First and foremost, we'll check and see if the optimizer's liking Jimmy Buckets or not. Let's see. They got Jimmy Butler on PrizePicks, 43.5 fantasy score. It looks like the optimizer is suggesting we take the over on Jimmy Butler at 43.5. 52.2% chance that this prop, Jimmy Butler fantasy score, goes over. So that's looking good. All right, let's pull a projection up here. Like we did for Embiid, we can do the same for Jimmy Buckets. Got him projected for 45.8 fantasy score. All right, 45.88 to be exact. Going up against the Brooklyn Nets, like we talked about here. Jimmy Butler, Miami, getting primed for the playoffs. All right, so 45.8. We talked about his line on the DG optimizer is at 43.5. So that could be one that you go for. They're suggesting you take the over on the optimizer. I've got really reliable projections on Fantasy Labs saying take the over on Jimmy Butler. About a 2 fantasy score difference, right? His projection versus his PrizePicks line. So that's looking pretty sweet. I think you could add those couple plays in there. Like I said, I'm not going to go with K Love, but Jimmy Butler's fantasy score sitting at 43.5 against Brooklyn. That could be a swelled play to put alongside Herbert Jones at 10.5 points plus assists. Or if you're feeling it, go back to Joel Embiid. We talked about his fantasy score being an under option for you coming off of a back-to-back last night against the Golden State Warriors. Maybe James Harden plays today. Maybe he has to go up against DeAndre Ayton. So those are all factors as to why maybe you would take the under on Joel Embiid at 59.5 fantasy score. Had a great game last night, but a different matchup tonight and a much lower expected total between the Phoenix Suns and the Philadelphia 76ers. So those are 3 really solid options that we've looked into so far. Got a couple of other picks being recommended here by our live chat members. Appreciate everybody who's joining the live chat. We got Fresh. Fresh is mentioning Spencer Dinwiddie's assist. I'm assuming you want to go over on that, Fresh, but let me know in the chat just to clarify. Dario Borinaga. Hopefully I'm saying that right. We'll call you DB right now. MPJ, Michael Porter Jr.'s 3-point makes. Again, I guess you're saying maybe take the over in this case. You guys aren't specifying whether you want to go over or under, but Michael Porter Jr.'s gone, baby, gone. He is no longer on the PrizePicks board. Kath is saying CJ McCollum over 5 assists. Let's see if we've got McCollum up on the PrizePicks board. We could build out a little 6-pick if you want. We can take this a little bit more safe and just go with like a 2-pick if you want to. But it looks like you've specified you want to take the over or more on CJ McCollum's assist sitting at 5. So let's go to the optimizer. Let's see if this play is one that is deemed plus EV. Again, all backed by math, folks. All backed by math. This is not me speaking from my gut. This is not me with my fake crystal ball saying, hey, here's what I predict is going to happen. This is just all rooted in math, all rooted in, facts, we'll say. Anyway, CJ McCollum, 5 assists. He's at 5 on PrizePicks, 5.5 on the sportsbooks, 53% chance for this to go over. All right, that's what the optimizer's saying. Again, based on the odds and the way people are betting and such. So let's go take a look at a projection here. We've already got the assists pulled up. CJ McCollum is projected for 5.5 dimes. We saw the other night, Brandon Ingram hogged all the assists. I think Ingram finished with like 10 or more dimes, and McCollum had very few, just a couple out of McCollum. So maybe there's a rebalancing that happens tonight. Maybe Ingram's assists come back down. I don't expect him to have 10 assists again tonight. And then CJ McCollum's in turn starts to go up a little bit in this matchup against the Los Angeles Clippers. But either way, McCollum projected for 5.5. He is at 5 on PrizePicks. So you could take a shot here on the over for CJ McCollum. Let's just take a peek at his game logs. If you guys want to see it to believe it, we can definitely do that thanks to props.cash. We take a look at the last 10 games for CJ McCollum. I've bumped his line down to 4.5 so that we can see how often he's had at least 5 assists or more. So he's hit at least 5 or more in 7 out of his last 10 games. So that's a 70% hit rate. But when we bump this up to 5.5, in other words, his ability to hit 6 or more assists in the last 10 games, you see that it kind of dries up a little bit. The hit rates drop down to 40%. So when you play a prop like CJ McCollum at 5 dimes, you're hoping that it doesn't tie and end with exactly 5. You're hoping that it goes for 6 or more, that there's some upside on that particular prop, right? Well, in the last 10 games, he has shown 6, 8, 9, 11 assist upside. But very unreliable, very inconsistent has been CJ McCollum when it comes to dropping dimes here. The last time that he played the Los Angeles Clippers, this was way back in October 30th at the start of the NBA season. He had 3 dimes. That information, that situation's probably nearly almost irrelevant. Both of these teams have undergone major changes to their starting lineups. So, take this with a grain of salt. He had 3 assists the last time that he played the Clippers. But I wanted to bring that point up to you as well. So yeah, you could take the over on McCollum. There's a really good shot that he ends up with exactly 5 dimes. Hey, there's a shot based on his inability to stay consistent that he goes for less than 5 too, though. You know what I mean? You saw the game logs. You saw what's up with CJ McCollum. But yeah, that's one that you could possibly take a shot on. I don't think I'm going to go there, though. All right. What else we got here? Jamal Murray's assists are being mentioned here. Ronald Pierre, we're probably not going to go looking at that free throw prop, but you're saying you're welcome, like it's already a done deal, like it's signed, sealed, and delivered that he's going to have at least, I guess you're talking about Bruce Brown, at least 1 free throw make. You're wanting to take the over on that 0.5 free throw make for Bruce Brown. Right, there you go. My man Ronald Pierre says, go ahead and book it, all right? He's good for 1 dime. Bruce Brown's good for 1 dime against the Milwaukee Bucks. Sugar Ray's mentioned Jamal Murray's assist. We could look at Murray real quick. Let's see if this passes the plus EV test first and foremost. Jamal Murray's assist at 6.5. The optimizer suggesting we take the under at 6.5. You did not really clarify, Sugar Ray, if you wanted to go over or if you wanted to go under. You want to go over or under, Sugar Ray? Let me know. because the optimizer is suggesting that the under has almost a 53% chance to hit today, my friend. So hopefully you're talking about an under here, but let's go look at it a little bit further. We'll pull a projection on Jamal Murray, not DeJounte Murray, Jamal Murray. All right. 6.6 is Jamal Murray's assist projection. He's being bet under at 6.5, but is projected for 6.6. You're wanting to go under. Okay. I would wait on this one. There's a chance maybe it gets bumped down to 6, and then maybe you take the over, but I saw some people on Nikola Jokic's over on his assists at 9.5. I don't know if I love that one either. That one wasn't really projecting well. If any of you were wondering about Nikola Jokic, I got him projected for 8.3 dimes today. I know he's a big betting favorite to go over at 9.5. He's even at 10.5 on some books. So at 9.5, definitely a plus EV bet, but I didn't take that one because I didn't like the fact that he was projected for just 8.3 dimes today. But he does typically drop a lot more dimes when he's playing at home in Denver versus when he's playing on the road. But for me, I'm going to stay away from that one. And I'm going to stay away from Jamal Murray too. Just not loving that. Everyday Fantasy coming through with the super chat. My man saying, check out Nicholas Claxton's PRA. That's points, rebounds, and assists for all you rookies out there. All right. He's saying Nicholas Claxton's PRA is looking good for the over at 20.5. Well, let's refresh the optimizer here. Again, you're going to want to get really comfy and cozy with that refresh button on whatever device you're using to view the DGF optimizer for PrizePicks. Refreshing just continuously pumps in the latest odds, the latest lines, and it's important that we have all the latest and greatest data so that we are getting in on the value before that value disappears. So you mentioned Nicholas Claxton over points, rebounds, and assists. His line is sitting at 20.5. This one's got a 51.4% chance. Now, I mentioned something earlier today to my Patreon members inside of our private Discord channel. I mentioned Nicholas Claxton, but I was talking about some Nicholas Claxton for, I'm going to just take those guys off because these are the two that I'm really rocking with, that I'm feeling the most right now. But I was talking about Nicholas Claxton for his first half PRA, which I did notice PrizePicks had already bumped it up from, oh boy, it's gotten the bump treatment even further here. He was at 10.5 PRA for the first half when the line first hit the board. Now he's at 13. I saw that he was at 11.5 and I posted it to Patreon and Discord. And I said, guys, it still seems a little bit too low, even at 11.5. So PrizePicks continuing to bump this sucker up. It is now at 13 for the first half PRA. But as you can see, he's been covering 13 or more 5 straight games. So maybe it's a little bit too rich for your blood at this point at 13 for the first half only. But as my man Don P is pointing out, we can still go full game here on Nicholas Claxton at 20.5. So let's pull him up here at 20.5. We got Nicholas Claxton, Green Bean City, baby. I like some green beans in my diet, and this guy Nicholas Claxton's been definitely providing the green beans here. 26 against OKC, followed by 29 and 28 against Sacramento and Denver, two very good teams. Followed that up with 24 and 22 against a tough Cleveland front court of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. So Nicholas Claxton coming to his own this season. He's really had sort of a breakout year for the Brooklyn Nets, but this 20.5 is looking kind of good. They bumped the first half up to 13, but have not bumped the full game yet. So maybe there's something to this. Again, going back to Claxton at PRA, full game PRA at 20.5, 51.4% chance that this one hits according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So let's pull a PRA up here for Clax. See what his projection's looking like. Oh yeah. It's looking good, guys. 22.7 projected points, rebounds, and assists. Again, his line's 20.5. We got a projection of 22.7. That's 2.2 PRA different for Nicholas Claxton today, folks. Liking the fact that it is plus EV, not a major plus EV. In other words, the odds aren't like super duper in our favor at 4 or 5% edge. It's just like a 1 to 2% edge, but still an edge is an edge. And the fact that this projection model loves him at 22.7 for 2.2 PRA higher My man Don P, aka Everyday Fantasy, leaving the super chat. I think you might be onto something, man. I think this one looks solid. I think it's worth adding to our entry today on PrizePicks. So I think these three right now, at this juncture, 12:49 p.m. on a Saturday, these are looking pretty sharp. Herbert Jones over 10.5 points and assists. Jimmy Butler over fantasy score. Nicholas Claxton over 20.5. But I'm going to take Herb out. I want to go with a 2-pick, same game parlay. We'll take Jimmy Butler over his fantasy score along with Nicholas Claxton over his PRA. Let's go 2-pick power. All right. Throw that in the entry. Throw that into the list of entries, I should say, here on PrizePicks. So we got Butler over 43.5 fantasy. Again, that one's being recommended by the optimizer. That one's being recommended by our Fantasy Labs FanDuel projections, which FanDuel scoring is the same as PrizePicks scoring. And then Nicholas Claxton plus EV play projected for 2.1 or 2.2 more PRA than his line is at 20.5. These other ones have already moved or been removed. Kawhi Leonard moved down from 4.5 to 4 for those of you guys who are just getting here. Russell Westbrook's line of 17.5 points was bumped down to 16.5 and then bumped up back to 17. And then we had Tyler Herro at 2.5 3-point makes. I took the over. They've snatched that one completely off of the PrizePicks board. And then my guy Corey Sanhagen, again, I'm tailing one of our MMA experts, one of our MMA sharps in our private Discord channels. So he's liking Corey Sanhagen to go for more than 107.5 significant strikes. Again, PrizePicks has a line up for Corey Sanhagen's fight time at almost 25 minutes, meaning a lot of the betting odds are expecting Corey Sanhagen and Marlon Vera to go the distance. If it goes the distance and it's a stand-up style fight where both of these fighters are on their feet, then Corey Sanhagen should have a real shot at going for 108 or more significant strikes. I think this line's still good. As of 9:55 a.m., Sanhagen strikes has maintained at 107.5. So coming through with another super chat, we got Wesley Winston. Shout out to my man Wes. Appreciate the support, my dude. He's got Aaron Gordon at 20.5 points and rebounds. Taking the over on Aaron Gordon. Let's go take a peek at AG and see what's looking good about Aaron Gordon tonight. Again, I go straight back to the optimizer. I want to know, first and foremost, am I getting my money in good? Are the odds in my favor or are they working against me? I want the odds to forever be in my favor, right? And I think you do too. And you could sleep comfortably at night knowing that you were in the on the right side of math, we'll say, okay? Because the math is just statistically, it's factual stuff here, okay? So let's go find Aaron Gordon's points and rebounds. It's set at 20.5 today. 20.5 today. This is a prop with a 50.2% chance to hit the over, according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, if you want to get access to this optimizer, they've got a number of different plans, something for everyone, okay? Depending on what your budget is, your price point is, they got a little something for everyone. Go down to the description of today's video, use that coupon code Curry to save yourself $5 on your first foray with the DGF optimizer. I've left a link down in the description for you to check this tool out for yourself. But in this case, back to Aaron Gordon, 20.5 points and rebounds, just a 50.2% chance for this to hit. Again, it is plus EV, but only minor plus EV play. Just a 0.2% chance that this is going to swing in our favor. So let's go take a closer look. We'll pull a projection up for you using Fantasy Labs here. Go into the points and rebounds section and pumping in here Gordon's name, not Eric Gordon. We want Aaron Gordon. Aaron. Got him projected for 20.3. His line's at 20.5. So again, not really seeing a significant difference between the projections and the books. Not really seeing a big difference between the books and the PrizePicks lines. Not really seeing a whole lot of juice on this particular prop at this moment on any of the sports books or anything like that. But maybe what we could do here is take a look at the visual component. Go get yourself a little bit of a peek at the game logs and such for Aaron Gordon. He did drop 40 points and rebounds against the Milwaukee Bucks the last time they played, which was January 25th. January 25th. All right. But that was a while ago. If you look at the last 10 games for Aaron Gordon, hasn't shown the best form lately. In other words, he hasn't been hitting the over at 20.5 PRA or PR, points and rebounds. Has not hit this at a very high clip in his last 10 games. We're talking 3 out of his last 10. That is a 30% hit rate, averaging just 19.5 points and rebounds in that span. All right. Last 5, it's gotten even worse, 17.6 points and rebounds. For me, too many red flags. I'm going to stay away from this one. He likely will face the likes of Giannis Antetokounmpo on defense. You might even see him matched up against Bobby Portis. I'm just going to stay away from this one. Not loving what I'm seeing here. Not loving the projections. Not loving the odds, the juice. So I'm going to leave Aaron Gordon to you savages out there who want to take the over on 20.5 PRA. It's not for me. Not for me, my friend. Official M23 dog. No giveaway today. Yes, there is a giveaway today. We already gave it away. It's B-Don is our big winner from yesterday. He's won himself a risk-free 2-pick power play on PrizePicks. Basically, I add a free entry to your account. You get both picks right, you win $100. So B-Don's our winner today. And guys, if you want to get your hands on one of these risk-free entries for yourself, just subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on today's show. And then once this show ends and the replay is posted to YouTube, go down to the comment section, leave a comment. Could be something nice. Could just be your favorite pick, prop, or play of the day. All right. Just leave a comment and then you'll automatically be entered into the win. And then the next time I do a show, I'm going to pick a winner from the previous show's comment section. That's how it works. That's the name of the game. But with that being said, guys, it's about 1 hour. I know your time is very valuable, those of you who are weekend warriors. So I don't want to overextend my welcome and make this show any longer than it has to be on a Saturday. I appreciate everybody for joining me, though. If you haven't liked yet, slap that like button. Let's run those likes up to as many as we can. And you can do that on your way out. It doesn't cost you anything to smash the like. And make sure you're a subscriber. We're trying to build this channel up, and we can't do it without your support. So if you're in Patreon and in Discord, guys, I'll be posting more picks throughout the day. I'll be posting some cheat sheets, both for the college basketball games, for the NBA games to come. So we'll get everybody prepared and ready to win some money on PrizePicks. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Good luck today. Peace.